Morning, everyone. We're going to start off with a little bit of flow for this morning. So just stepping up to the top of your mat. Face the palms forward. Lifting the toes and letting your weight fall back into your heels. Breathing in and out. Then breathing in, let's reach the arms straight overhead. Exhale, bend a little at the knees at first, folding forward. Nose towards the knees. Then inhale, lift from about halfway. You might want to slide your hands up towards the knees. Draw the shoulders open. And then exhale again, folding forward. Drop the head. Weight pulling back into the heels. Face the arms forward. And then inhale, lift arms up. Exhale, hands coming down through heart space. Pop the arms by your side. Let's inhale, reach arms straight up. And then exhale, squatting down and taking hands just in front of the shoulders like you're saying stop. Just check the tracking of those knees. And then take your left toe back. So we're weight bearing in our right leg here. Then pushing the arms forward to counterbalance. Send that left leg back. Turn it into warrior two by taking the pinky toe side of that left foot down. Lifting the palms up here, keeping your elbows a little bit lower than your shoulders. Now drop the left hand behind the left hip, reaching the right arm up. And then as you exhale, let's take the right forearm or elbow down to the mat. And then scoop the left arm through, stretching through the entire left side of the body from left pinky finger to left pinky toe. Trying to tuck the tailbone under, lift the chest. Try and just spread your toes on your right foot as well. And check that your right knee is not going over the right ankle. You want to draw it back a little bit. Now let's drop the left hand behind the left hip. Push away through that right heel. You can straighten the right leg and lift the right arm up and then inhale. Then taking both hands to the hips, let's turn the right toes in, left toes in a little bit. And then when you activate your legs and switch on your glutes, the toes almost face forward as we just wind up that connective tissue through the legs. Now just bend the knees a little bit, folding forward from the middle of the back. And if you need to hold here and just come up because there's tightness in the legs and the back, then take it there. Otherwise, let's bring the right hand down just under the right shoulder. Again, you might want to just move into the legs a little bit from side to side. If there's not too much tension in those hammies, you can hold the legs straight. lift the left shoulder a little. I've got my left hand on my left hip at the moment. And if there's no catching through the front of the left shoulder, I'll lift the left arm up and maybe look up towards that left hand. I'm spreading the toes wide so I can lift up through the arch of the foot. And then looking down, taking the left hand underneath the left shoulder, right hand to right hip. Again, you can keep a little bit of a bend in your knees. And also, if it feels like it's too much of a reach, you can have a block or a couple of blocks underneath your hand here also. And if there's not too much tension through the right shoulder, you can take the right hand up. Keeping the breath moving, trying just to wait there in your standing arm like you are with your feet. So you're pushing into the heel of the hand, just like you're pushing into the heels themselves. And try to keep a tiny little baby bend happening at your left elbow so that the joint's not locked out. One more breath here. And gently bringing both hands down. Just walk them in a little bit, maybe even come onto the fingertip pads. Drop into the knees a little, lift the chest and breathe in. And then as you exhale, try just dropping the head down, maybe walking hands a little more in line with those toes. Head hangs, shoulders drawing back. Of course, you can bend into the knees, warming into the body gently. Take a deep breath in and exhale completely. Head softens again. Then send the weight back into your heels. Bring your hands to your hips and start to roll up to standing. Switch on both glutes when you arrive. Now I'm going to turn my right toes forward. Sneak the right foot over to the right side of the mat a little. Gently pivot on the ball of the back foot. And then try and step forward with one step to the top of the mat. If you've got apprehension or giving way in that knee, just bunny hop forward instead of one giant leap. Take your arms by your side. Inhale, lifting both arms up. Exhale, squat down and take the hands to the front of the shoulders like you're saying stop. Check that the tracking of your toes and knees are all straight ahead. And then we're going to just lift up the right heel and I'm balancing just on my right toe, feeling into this left knee. If you feel that it's going to give way, you just straighten the leg. Then take the arms forward, send that right foot back, take it onto its pinky toe side as you take your right arm back. Then take both palms to face up, keeping your elbows lower than your shoulders. Then drop the right hand behind the right hip. Inhale, lifting up through your left side waist. And then exhale, take left hand or left forearm down onto the thigh, pushing away through the pinky toe side of the right foot. Then reach the right arm forward. Breathing deeply. Checking that you're not letting your left knee come over the top of that left ankle. If you lift and spread the left toes here, that's going to help to create more alignment and stability. And then we're going to push away through that left foot. Drop the right arm behind the right hip. Inhale, reaching left arm up. Then taking both hands onto the hip. We're going to turn the left toes in this time. Pushing into the pinky toe sides of the feet. Then turn right toes out towards the back of the mat. Bend into the right knee a little bit. We're taking Utthita Trikonasana triangle pose. So I'm going to bring arms out to the side and then drop the right hand in front of the right knee. Left arm is reaching up. And then to switch on into this pose, I'll point my left sit bone towards the right heel. Imagine that this right hand is nailed onto my right knee And gently just try to lift the ribs away from that right side waist. Try and activate through the quads, breathing. And then unlock the right knee as you lift back up and release. Hands coming back to hips. Let's turn right toes in, left toes out. Prepare for Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Arms out to the side, unlock the left knee. And then pivot at the hips to bring your left hand in front of your left knee. Right arm reaching away. And then pointing the right sit bone towards the left foot as you lift up. If this is strong on the back, you can bend the knee a little bit and place the hand onto the thigh for a little bit more support. Otherwise, imagine that the hand is glued here at the front of the left knee and you're trying to lift the ribs away from that left thigh as you lock the right sit bone towards the left heel. Breathe. Unlocking the left knee, just reverse. Lift left arm up, drop right hand behind right hip. And then both hands coming back onto the hips. Sneak your left foot over to the left a little. Pivot on the ball of the right foot. And try stepping your right foot forward in one giant leap. We're back at the top of the mat. Breathing in, arms coming up overhead. Big squeeze of the glutes here. Exhale, that's fold all the way down. Hands either side of the feet, or use a couple of blocks here if you need to. Inhale, lift up the chest and draw the shoulders back. You can come up halfway if you like with the hands to the knees. And again, exhale, just drop the head, fold forward, bending the knees as the hamstrings lead. And then just look towards one armpit and then the other. Just trying to release through the back of the neck. Check that those knees are facing straight ahead. And then let's take a halfway lift again. So breathe in, lengthen through the front of the body, draw the shoulders back, point the sit bones down. And again, exhale, folding forward. Then we'll roll back up to standing, hips towards the heels, arms face forward, then reach them overhead. Inhale, glutes on. Exhale, hands coming straight back down through heart space. Taking your arms by your side. Inhale, reaching the arms straight up. Exhale, come back into that Utkatasana position with the hands at the front of the shoulders like you're saying stop. Weight into the right heel. Let's lift the left heel, just balance on the toes at first. Then reach the arms forward. Send the left leg back and then lift the arms up into a lunge. So here I've got my left heel up and I'm active with my left glute. But you might prefer to bring the pinky toe side of your left foot down into Virabhadrasana 1. This position puts a lot of torsion or twist into the knee. So I prefer the position with your heel lifting up to prevent that shearing force through the knee. Keep the breath moving. If your shoulders are really tight, you can just take your hands to heart. If you practice every day, sometimes if you're doing especially a lot of mat work and weight bearing through your arms, the shoulders can get a little bit tender. So we'll reduce that load just by putting the hands down. Again, otherwise you can keep them straight up. One more breath. Now as I bring my chest down to the belly, to the thigh rather, I'm going to take the hands either side of that front foot. I'm really pushing away with the back glute and heel, pushing forward with the right heel, and checking that the right knee is not coming forward over that right ankle. You've got the option to bring your left knee down for a little bit of a rest here if you need to. Otherwise, let's take the right hand onto the right hip. Right collarbone is going to lift. And then the right arm lifts here also. Keep the breath moving. Again, if there's a bit of pain or catching in that right shoulder, you can take your right hand in behind the opposite hip. Keep pushing the right foot forward so that the right knee doesn't come over the right ankle. Keep the left glute engaged here if you can. And then both hands are going to come back to frame this front foot. And I'm going to step to the top of the mat in a halfway lift. So you can bunny hop your back foot in a little bit or take one giant leap. Inhale, open chest, draw shoulders back, sit bones towards heels. Exhale, folding forward, head is heavy. And then roll back up to standing, weight into the heels, palms facing forward, arms overhead if you like. If the shoulders are tight, just face those hands forward. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Relaxing arms back down by your side. Inhale, lifting the arms overhead, glutes on, weight into the heels. Exhale, folding forward, hands down either side of that front foot. Take a halfway lift once again, opening up through the chest. Exhale back into your forward fold. And then rise back up to stand, weight into the heels, arms forward, overhead if you prefer, and exhale, hands back to heart space. Arms coming by your side, Tadasana. Now squatting to the knees, inhale, and then exhale, hands coming to the front of the shoulder again, like you're saying stop. Weight into your left foot, balance on your right big toe. If it's too much load on the knee, you just straighten it out. Now push the arms forward as you step your right foot back, and then lift the arms up for a lunge. If you are unbalanced here, you have the option to bring the right foot down to Virabhadrasana 1. Otherwise, keep the heel off the ground, working on engaging your right glute and tucking the tailbone under. Keep pushing forward through your left foot. Beautiful. Hands can come down if you find that reaching overhead is aggravating. Shoulders. Breathe deeply. Use your lower ribs to help release that exhale, drawing them under. Then we'll take hands down either side of the front foot. So really push away through that left heel to prevent the knee from coming forward over the foot. I'm pushing away nice and firm with my right heel, not down to the ground, but back. Okay, so push the heel back rather than down. And then we'll twist here into our revolving side angle pose. Just making sure that there's a little bit of a baby bend in your standing elbow as well. Try not to sink into the hip capsule. You want to keep pushing forward with your left foot so that that left hip is just above the knee. And then we're externally rotating a little bit through both legs. So knees pointing towards the pinky toe side of the foot, but without the big toe mound lifting up. So don't spill onto the pinky toe side of the foot. Just aim your hip in that direction. Wonderful. Then both hands coming back down either side of that front foot. You can take one giant leap, or you can bunny hop your foot in a little. And then step it up, inhale, lift up halfway, draw shoulders back, tuck the tail under. Exhale to a forward bend, belly to thighs, the knees might bend. And then rolling all the way back up to stand. Switch on through the glutes, palms forward. Perhaps breathe in again, take arms overhead. And exhale. Hands down through heart space. Tadasana, arms by your side. Now inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, folding all the way forward. Inhale, taking a halfway lift. And then this time we're going to push forward with the hands to step the left foot back. So we're coming back into this lunging position. But this time we're going to gently bring this left knee down and then stand on the knee, just bringing the right foot off to the side a little bit. So here I'm tucking straight under through my tailbone so I can feel my left glute switched on. And then I'll take my left hand just in behind my right hip so I can peekaboo the fingers out through the opposite side. And then just leaning a little bit into this left side raise so I can feel more of a stretch through the anterior hip and into the flexor. If you want a little bit more here, you can just lift up through left side, reaching the arm overhead, or even come down onto that right forearm. Just keep pushing straight down into that right knee, into your right heel, rather to stop the knee from drifting. We don't want to lunge. We want to keep pushing straight down into the top of the left foot so that our left hip is fixed here and the glute remains active. Now experiment with your fullest, deepest breath. Now when we release here, we're going to straighten through the right leg. See if we can bring the left hand down beside the left knee or use a block. Right hand is going to push to the tailbone, and there's a little bit of a back bend here as I just push the hips forward. The chest can lift, and if there's no difficulty with your right shoulder, you can reach it up overhead to feel that stretch from right pinky finger down to right pinky toe. And then carefully just coming around onto all fours, and your left foot reaches straight back. So we're unsquishing the knee where we're just kneeling on, okay? Now keep a bit of downward kick into your right shin or your right big toe. Squeeze your glutes so your left leg lifts up. And then try taking bird dog, balancing here. Left heel pressing away, right arm reaching forward. And then both hands coming back to the mat. You've got the option here to lift up into a downward facing dog. Or you can stay on the knees and just breathe through cow and cat. Or you might drop down a little bit lower to rest in child's pose. So just take 5 breaths in your preferred position. Nice and easy in child's pose. Or keeping things moving through cow and cat. Or you're up in Ardha Uttanasana, downward facing dog. Wherever you are, try to keep your wave-like breath happening. The inhale and the exhale about the same length. Now, if you're on your knees, just come up into a downward dog. Look to the top of the mat and start to walk your feet up. Inhale, lift the chest as you arrive. Exhale, fold to your forward bend, head heavy. And then weight into the heels. Let's roll up, chest open, palms forward, breathe in, arms overhead. Weight into the heels, glutes on. And exhale, hands down through heart space. Tadasana, take a rest, arms by your side. And then inhale, arms reaching up overhead. Exhale, folding forward, hands down beside the feet, head heavy. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Hands can come a little bit further forward. Push forward with fingertips as you take your right foot back. Dropping into a lunge. And then just gently take the right knee down. Stand up on the right knee and bring your left foot out to the side a little bit. So your left foot is kicking straight down into the mat here. Glute stays switching on. Lean a little bit into that left side waist. And if you like, you can reach the right arm up a little bit or come down onto the forearm to increase that stretch all the way into the hip flexor and right into the rib cage. So experiment with your fullest, deepest breaths. Breathing deeply. Exhale completely. And then you can come straight back onto all fours if you like, or you can cartwheel your right fingertips, the heel of the hand down, straighten through the left leg, bringing your foot back accordingly. Now push forward with your hips or your tailbone with your left hand, or if it's available to you, you can reach that left arm away. I'm rolling my left pinky toe side. I'm rolling the pinky toe side of my left foot down towards the mat. Now just come out nice and slowly, bringing both hands down gently onto the left knee, taking the right foot back to unsquish your right knee and bring it back into alignment. Kick a little bit into your left foot, squeeze the right glute to lift the right leg up. And left arm forward, bird dog. And then both hands down, both knees down. Again, you've got downward facing dog. Or you can take Anahatasana. So to take Anahatasana, we'll bring the forearms down, bring the elbows a little wider to then take the forehead straight down. Inhale and exhale. Take 3 more breaths here. Wonderful. So if you're in down dog, just bring your hands and knees down to the mat. Let's all bring the forearms now so that they face forward. And then I'm going to walk my knees back. And then try bringing the hips down and taking the forearms just to a position where it feels easy to keep the upper body lifted. So hands facing straight ahead, trying to keep the collarbones broad. And if this is still too strong for you, just bring your hands down in front, fold them one on top of the other, and you can just lift a little and then come down, okay? Otherwise, we're going to sustain it here. Again, forearms pushing away. My elbows are just a little bit broader than the shoulders. I'm going to lengthen through the back of the neck. So I don't want the chin sticking out. I want the chin just gently drawing under a little bit so that I can feel length through the back of the neck rather than an acute fold in the middle of the neck. Lift the corners of the mouth into a smile, and as you breathe in, imagine the breath is coming in through the ears. So that gentle movement or mudra of lifting the corners of the mouth helps you to open your collarbones, feel like the collarbones are also smiling apart. But it also helps to create your Ujjayi breath. Wonderful. So just ease on down if you haven't done so already. Folding the hands, taking the forehead down on the hands. Relax the low back. You can give your hips a little bit of a wiggle here, ensuring they are nice and relaxed. Now just let the hips soften. We're going to lift the chest a little bit, tuck under through the tailbone, and this time lifting up into a modified locust by just taking the hands to touch the side of the hips. Your elbows should be bent so they're pointing straight up and the collarbones are broad. Try to tuck the chin a little bit so you're looking straight down and you can smile the breath in again through those ears, inflating the upper lungs to help hold the upper body open. And then bringing hands back around either side and then just relax the forehead straight down once again. And then we're going to take a little bit of a stretch into the front part of the shoulders. So just lift the head and then slide your left arm around so that your left hand is facing pretty much forward and your left elbow is lower than your shoulder. So it's at about a right angle, okay? Now as I push straight down into my left fingertip, my left shoulder lifts a bit, okay? So I'm actively just rounding the left index finger knuckle down so my left collarbone stays lifted. Now try looking towards your right shoulder and bring your head down on your left temple or your left ear. You can just use your hand or take your head all the way to the mat. So I'm breathing deeply, just keeping this left collarbone lifting away from the midline. Three more breaths here. Then gently lift the head so you're looking straight down. And then bring both hands back in straight underneath the forehead. Then this time you'll take your right arm out to the side. Make sure that the elbow is lower than the shoulder and the hands are facing straight ahead. And then just turn to look towards the opposite side, either resting your head down on the temple or on the mat. Keep that little bit of pressure in your right index finger so that the right collarbone keeps lifting away from the midline. Breathing in and out, maintain a steady breath. And then just lift the head, bring both hands back in, tuck the chin, rest the head down, so the neck is coming back into a neutral position. Then yogis, we're going to push up onto all fours. So bring your hands just either side of your chest, tuck your toes under. And then you want to try just pushing with the knees so your hips pop up. So as I push with my knees, it's this movement, like I'm just trying to draw the knees up into a child's pose, okay? And then strong with the hands, push away with the heel of the hand. Draw the elbows in, round up, coming all the way onto all fours. Exaggerate that tuck of the tail. And then if you're able to drop your hips towards your heels, you can. Otherwise, just go a little bit sort of backwards and forwards with the knees to whatever your knees range allows. Otherwise, again, you can drop those hips towards heels. I'm keeping my toes tucked here just to get a little bit of a stretch through the arch of the foot. And I'm trying to roll the heels in a little bit so that my feet stay in alignment with the knees. Wonderful. So from this position, just walk your knees to the left a little bit and then sit down on the right hip. So try to keep your right knee pushing straight down. You can bring your hands wherever you need to go so that you feel your grounded leg, your right leg, is touching from the pinky toe side of the foot to the knee to the hip. So it's doing this movement, but into the ground, yeah? Then you can let that soften a little, walk the hands back slightly, and then see if you can bring your left foot to the outside of the right knee. And then we just try to walk our body weight onto the mat so that we've got the left hip touching the ground. Now, if you bring your hands away from the back closer to the body, and this really pulls at the inside or the pinky toe side of your right leg, I want you to straighten your right leg. So you've got both sit bones firmly on the mat. Now you can take your right hand to the outside of your left knee. So we've got opposite hand to knee. I'm going to just create an L shape like this with my fingers. And then just push my fingers into the knee. And the knee pushes away. So my knee is resisting that movement, just gently. Right shoulder blade pulls back, so the collarbone's kind of facing away from the midline. And then I'm just going to turn to look over that left shoulder. So I don't want you to bring your elbow over and try to rotate like this, okay? Now, if it's available to you to keep that right heel next to the left hip, you can keep it there, of course. If you've got this position, your forearm might be sort of resting over the leg, which is fine. But again, don't use your arm to lever the back into rotation, because our lumbar spine doesn't like too much rotation, especially sustained rotation. Again, we just want to look towards that left ear. Imagine that you're trying to see behind you as if you're reversing the car out of the driveway. I'm actively pushing straight down into the right knee if the right knee is bent. So both knees are opening in that clam movement. Use your exhale here to draw the belly muscles in. And then let's unwind here from Ardha Matsyendrasana. And take the hands back, straighten through the right leg if it's not already straight, then straighten through the left leg, both toes pulling back towards you. Then we simply bring our weight onto the left hip, so both feet are on the right side. And then I'm just going to practice this movement of pushing down into the pinky toe side of this left leg. So this leg is actively doing this movement, okay? Hip stays down, knee stays down, pinky toe side of foot stays down. So this is going to open up through this left side hip and low back, which can prepare you for this version of the pose. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have the legs straight, but it helps to still create that movement, even if you can't keep the leg bent. Okay, so from here, I'm going to walk my hands back behind the hips a little so that I can bring my right foot over the left knee. And then you can try to sit on the right sit bone. Now, here, if you're trying to bring your right sit bone down, but the foot or the knee comes up, you need to straighten out through your left leg so you've got both sit bones firmly on the mat. Make a little L shape with your hand and hook the pinky finger to the outside of the knee And then keep that right knee again clamming open. So we've got a little bit of resistance there. Left collarbone is open away from the midline. And I'm just going to use my eyes like I want to see over my right shoulder. Even if you have a lot of range into rotation, don't go that far. Your spine doesn't like sustained rotation over a period of time. Especially if you are middle-aged, we start losing bone density, there's no doubt about it. And those shearing forces are really detrimental if you have any osteopenia or osteoarthritis. Okay, now if you do have a bit more opening through your hips, you usually have to have quite an established yoga practice to do this one with ease and still keep your bandha, so still keep that external rotation, that activation through the knees happening. Now use the eyes again like you're trying to see behind you, as if to just reverse out of the driveway. Check, do a bit of a shoulder check. Take a really deep breath in and then use your exhale to draw the tummy muscles in. And then yogis, we're going to come out of this position, taking the hands behind the hips, unfold left leg if it's not already, unfold the right leg. So both knees are straight, both toes pulling back towards you. Just as a little bit of a counter position to release the low back after that rotation, you've got the option here to lift into a tabletop. Face your hands whatever way your shoulders allow, keep your elbows unlocked, then push into the feet. Lift the hips, give the glutes a squeeze. If this is too strong for your shoulders, just don't lift up quite so high. And then we're going to drop the hips back down to the mat. Scoot forward a little bit so you've got enough room to come all the way down. I'm going to dip my heels down here and breathe in as I roll down. So as I dig my heels down and almost attempt to pull them in towards me, take that inward breath. You should be able to roll down with some ease. Now push away through both heels, toes drawing back towards the knees, glutes switching on. And then I'm just going to let the hips relax, and then those feet will just fall open into a natural position. I'm going to take a deep breath in here, lift up my head, lift up my arms, tuck my ribs in, curl through the hands, bend the elbows, squeeze in the shoulders, lengthen the arms away, and then exhale, bringing the body down. Then I'm going to gently press the head straight down into the mat, and then let that soften. I'm going to shrug the shoulders towards the ears. You hardly see them move. Shrugging them up towards the ears and then letting them soften. And then I'm going to open my mouth as wide as I can and poke out my tongue on an exhale. And then let the head relax. Then you might like to close the eyes down, resting in Shavasana. Shavasana is the pose of the corpse, dead body pose. Not only does this posture bring our body back into its anatomical position, realigning the spine, the hips, the shoulders. The act of resting in this pose is an act of humility, a reminder of our impermanence. As you rest in Shavasana, be grateful for the vehicle that carries you through this life every day. Be grateful that you've been able to unroll your mat and move your body with life. Yoga teaches us to become detached to the body. So in Shavasana, we are surrendering the ego, surrendering that attachment to the body, knowing that one day the borders of the skin will dissolve and we will merge back into oneness. Inhale, peace. Exhale, release. Now, if you have a little longer this morning to rest in Shavasana, by all means, stay there for about 10 minutes. If you're ready to move, or you need to get moving and into your day's work, just bring the feet flat. Stretch the arms away. Bring a big breath, maybe a yawn into the side of the body. And then we'll roll over to one side, bring the knees in. Pushing up with the hands to come to a comfortable seat. We've been working on realigning our knees this week in our group yoga classes. So we're going to keep feet straight ahead rather than sitting with the legs crossed. If you find it tricky to stay sitting up with the legs out straight, just grab a block and pop it in under the sit bones. You can bring the legs out a little wider here if you like. If you don't have a block and you're using a yoga mat, roll it in, and then you just sit the sit bones on the edge of the mat and you'll find it's easier to sit up. If there's no issues with the knees and you do prefer to sit cross-legged, you can take it there. We want to maintain some length through the spine. Open the shoulders. Seal yin and yang, lung and large intestine into chin mudra. Breathing in deeply. Inhale. Inhale. Namaste. Have a great day.